All right, let's get right into it. We're going to talk about something truly bizarre. One of the greatest wonders, really, of the plant world. It's a flower that's so strange, so huge, and so mysterious, it feels like it shouldn't even be real. It breaks all the rules. This is the incredible story of Rafflesia.
Just look at this thing. I mean, really look at it. You're looking at a plant, but think about what makes a plant a plant. This has no leaves, no stem, no roots. It's like it ripped up the biology textbook. It's almost like a giant disembodied flower that just materializes out of nowhere.
So, you gotta be wondering, right? If it doesn't have any of the usual parts, how on earth does it get its food? Well, the simple answer is, it doesn't. Not by itself anyway. See, Rafflesia is a parasite. It spends almost its entire life as this network of tiny, thread-like filaments, completely hidden away inside an unsuspecting jungle vine.
And that right there, that's the central question we're tackling today. How does a plant evolve to be so completely dependent, so alien, that it just gets rid of the very things that define it as a plant in the first place? Seriously, how can something like this even exist?
To figure that out, we have to look at its truly bizarre lifestyle. It's a strategy so extreme, scientists actually had to come up with a whole new category just for things like it.
It's called a holoparasite, and that holo part means whole or entire. This is key. It's not just stealing a little bit of food here and there. Nope, it steals everything. It's basically outsourced its entire life support system to its host, this vine called tetrastigma.
And this is a great way to see what we're talking about. Look at the top. That's your typical plant, right? Seed, roots, leaves, the whole deal. But then look at Rafflesia on the bottom. It lives as what's called an endophyte. Those are the hidden filaments we mentioned, living inside the vine. For years, you'd never even know it was there. It's just silently siphoning off all its energy from the host until it's ready for its one big moment, to bloom.
This lifestyle is so extreme, it led to this massive evolutionary decision. Rafflesia literally deleted its chloroplast genome. I mean, just think about that for a second. That's the genetic code for making food from sunlight. It's a plant that completely gave up the ability to photosynthesize. It is, without a doubt, the ultimate freeloader.
Okay, but if you think that's weird, it gets even stranger. To survive this way, Rafflesia became a master thief on a genetic level. It uses a process called horizontal gene transfer. It's not just stealing food and water anymore. It is stealing actual genes straight from its host.
And the scale of this genetic heist is just staggering. Some research suggests that around 40% of its mitochondrial genes, the ones that handle energy production, were probably stolen from its host over millions of years. It is literally rebuilding its own instruction manual with stolen parts. Incredible.
So, all of this just leads to an even bigger question, right? Where did this thing come from? This giant, rootless, gene-stealing flower. What's its origin story? For centuries, scientists were stumped. But thanks to modern genetics, the answer turned out to be something nobody could have predicted.
And here it is, the big reveal. Some amazing genetic work by a researcher named Charles Davis and his team, they figured it out. They placed Rafflesia smack in the middle of the Euphorbiaceae family. And its closest living relatives? You're not going to believe it. Plants known for having these tiny, almost unnoticeable flowers, like poinsettias. Yeah, the giant came from a family of miniatures.
So just wrap your head around that leap for a second. To get from that tiny flowered ancestor to the monster flower we see today, its size had to increase by about 79 times. That isn't just fast evolution. That's an absolutely explosive evolutionary burst.
This timeline really helps put it all in perspective. You go back, say, 46 million years. Its ancestor has this little flower, just a couple of millimeters across. Barely anything. Then, something happens. It triggers this incredible growth spurt, and over millions of years, it just balloons in size, leading to today's Rafflesia arnoldii, which can be a whole meter wide. Wild.
But here's the crazy irony. For all its massive size, for this epic evolutionary journey, the flower itself is here for a shockingly short time. It is the definition of here today, gone tomorrow.
I mean, its life cycle is pure drama. After years of being completely hidden, this bud pops out, looking kind of like a giant cabbage. It slowly gets bigger and bigger for 9 months. Then, for just 5 to 7 days, it opens up into this magnificent giant flower. But after that one short week of glory, it just collapses into this black, slimy, foul-smelling mess and vanishes.
That is a ton of energy to spend on something so temporary. So you have to ask, why? Why get so big? And maybe more importantly, why does it smell like rotting flesh? Well, the answer is a pretty brilliant and kind of disgusting deception.
See, it's not trying to attract bees with pretty smells and sweet nectar. No way. Rafflesia mimics the look and, yeah, the smell of a dead animal to attract its pollinators, which are carrion flies. The giant flower basically acts like a big trap, making sure the flies get totally covered in this sticky, liquid pollen. And the flies? They're completely tricked. They lay their eggs there thinking it's a great meal for their babies, but it's a cruel trick. The larvae hatch and have nothing to eat. It's stark, but you got to admit, it's effective.
So you have this absolute marvel of evolution, a master of deception, a master of survival. It's overcome all these incredible biological challenges. But now, it's facing its biggest threat yet.
A recent study from just 2023 delivered a really stark warning. It found that even though this is a global icon of the plant world, most of the 42 known species of Rafflesia are now at risk of extinction. And this really shows you the scale of the crisis. A whopping 60% of all Rafflesia species are at risk. And get this, of that group, a quarter of them are considered critically endangered. That's literally one step away from being gone for good. This isn't some future problem, it's happening right now.
So, why is this happening? Well, the biggest reason, no surprise, is rapid deforestation in the rainforests of Southeast Asia. But its own weird biology is kind of working against it too. Because it totally depends on that one specific host vine, it's almost impossible to grow in a botanical garden. And because it's hidden most of its life, it's really hard for scientists to even study or keep track of it. You end up with these small, isolated populations that are just incredibly vulnerable.
And all of that leaves us with a final, pretty unsettling question. This plant, this prodigy of the vegetable world, it created a survival strategy that is nothing short of genius. It adapted, it evolved, it thrived for 46 million years. So the only real question left is, can it survive us?